and it's time for the 4th episode of The Mechanics of Poetry. Today, our question was discussed in the after session. We asked the poets who were here last week what were their questions, and the one that rose to the top for me was, what are your favorite publishers? Publications, yeah, what are your favorite poetry publications? That's the exact question. And that could be both in print and online. And as is my newfound tradition in Mechanics of Poetry, I'm going to start off and then I'll turn it over to everybody. So everybody gets a shot at saying what their favorite poetry publication is, either in print or online. And I'm going to start with in print. I got some well, these are mostly local presses, right? This is Southern California presses, and one that's been around for like 10 years, well, being more than 10 years, but published this way for almost 10 years is Lumix. And I'm sorry to say that Lumix is not going to be published in print this year, but the publisher, Artie Armstrong, will hold the contest. So there still will be a contest, and I'm going to put that up on the screen in just a moment here. I just wanted to get across, if you ever get, ever see one of these, each issue tends to have about 150 poets, and the poems are laid out very nicely for the most part, and black and white though inside, just like Spectrum. And there's some daring works in here. RD, he's someone who, if you send him something he doesn't like, he says, do you have anything better? At least that's what he's told me. And he's given me second and third opportunities to submit until he found a poem he liked. So if you can please RD, that's a bit of an accomplishment. So Lumix. And let me show you real quick so we don't forget. I've got the notice for the contest this year. I'm gonna put it up real quick so it'll be in the recording. All right, how do I do that? First, you bring up the page. There it is. And then you share it. First, you bring up the page and then you share it. You share it. Where did I hear that before? Okay, so this is the contest. So you can see it's pretty straightforward. It's a $15 non-refundable fee. The prize is $1,000 for one poet and only one. There will possibly be honorable mentions. Poems must be less than 100 lines each. That's very generous. And you submit your poems to poetraindog@gmail.com. So I've got that on the screen. It's going to stay up there for a minute. In terms of paying him, you can use, I think PayPal is one of them. No, it says here, pay your fee by going to lumixpress.com. So I guess he's got his system there, but he also says you can send a check the old-fashioned 20th century way to his address in Long Beach. And so he's just taking a break from making those volumes. It is a lot of work to make a large anthology and then promote it. So it's like a year-long thing practically. He did several readings every year to promote it. Okay, so enough about Lumix. Another one I want to bring out is a very local press, Pasadena press, called Golden Foothills Press. They just put out this publication this year called When the Virus Comes Calling, COVID-19 Strikes America. And Thelma T. Reyna is the editor-in-chief. And she's published her own books, other people's books, and anthologies. So good press, and it definitely supports local poets. Good to submit to. Speaking of local poets, there's a group of poets, they call themselves the Pasadena Rose Poets. They put out this anthology. I'm hoping they're going to do that every year. They're a group of approximately 8 poets, very tight group of poets. They put out the publication and do readings to support it. And they're worthwhile to read. Is my main reason for promoting them. You want to read them, some great poets in the group. Pasadena Rose Poets. Okay. And the last of the print ones I'm going to share is a new press for a group that's been around for over 10 years. That's the LA Poet Society. They put out their first book, and it's gorgeous. And it's full color on glossy paper. You don't see that every day. In other words, they're well funded. And the books cost $28, but if you get published in them, it's free. Pretty good deal. So hopefully they will publish many more publications. I understand that is their ambition. So Jessica Wilson Cardenas is the EIC for Los Angeles Poet Society, because she's also the president of the Los Angeles Poet Society. So she's really has a good ambition for Southern California poets. Good person to know. Hey, Chuka, you wanted to say something?
Is it Poet Society with an S at the end of poets? Or is it
I'm
just,
glad you asked that, because it's the Los Angeles Poet Society. Yeah, there is no S.
okay.
I always found that a little peculiar, but what the hey, it's not my organization. Los Angeles Poet Society. Okay, I guess it's good enough. And it's a good website. You'll see a lot of examples of other poets there. So I highly recommend, if you're a Southern California poet, the Los Angeles Poet Society. Okay. And I just want to mention one more online publication that's been ongoing for 17 years. Long time. And I'm going to bring it up on the share screen now. There we go. Oop, I want to share. Yeah, come on. There we go. And you may have heard of poeticdiversity.org. It's put together by Marie Lecravain, and she has published hundreds of Southern California poets over the past 17 years. You look at some of those names there, you might recognize some people you know. Oh, there's another one, Julia Stein and Tim Tipton. Yeah, every time I look, there's more poets that I recognize. And it's easy to navigate. She's got featured poets, all indexed, contributing poets. She features half a dozen poets every issue. It comes out twice a year. And usually there's maybe 20 contributing poets each issue, some prose articles and columns, one or two each issue. And it's fun to go to a poet you may know or even not know and see how many poems have been published by Marie. Some poets only send a few, others have sent many over the past 17 years. I think I'm up to 10 poems. So I sort of remember to send in something every other year. Yeah, but I'm not usually loyal to online publications like this. So Poetic Diversity I like because it's just so inclusive, which is something I really dig about these presses, as far as I know, their inclusivity. So those are my recommendations, my favorite poetry publications. And now we're going to go to, I think we'll go to the questioner first. Chuka Susan Chesney. She's one of the great questioners, giving me questions for these episodes. So I'm going to turn it over to you first, Chuka.
Okay. So I really like this one that I got into because it's from Auburn University, but they discontinued it, and I'm hoping that it will start up again.
Very good looking.
Yeah, I'm the happiest that I got into this of everything I've gotten into. And my poem in it is very odd, but they liked it. Then this one, I got a little short story in it. It's almost like a long poem. It's so short. So I guess they call it a short or something like that.
Is that the I-70 review?
Yes.
So that's a highway or something? The
I-70 review.
Where are they located? I'm just trying to figure out.
I think Kansas.
That's got to be it. The I-70 goes through Kansas. So
one of my goals is to try to get a poem in every state. And this one was Alabama, and this one is Kansas. And I've gotten one in Minnesota and Australia and India. So I guess I'm on my way.
That's a great ambition.
Yeah, it's fun. And a bunch of other places. I'd have to look through and see what they all are. But
You're mentioning a good one here. Go
yeah,
ahead.
this is the San Pedro River Review by Jeff and Toby Alfier. And it's pretty hard to get in. I got in one time, and that was with a poem that just it came to me. It was, I could feel it in my head and in my chest. I had no possible way of dealing with it except to immediately go type it down on my computer. And so I did. And I only needed to tweak it like 3 times and it was done. And they loved it. So, but I tried to get in other times and I can't get in. So that
I've
one
only,
was a good one.
only tried once and I got in. And so I
You
didn't
are lucky.
enough
I mean,
loyalty.
you're not just lucky, you're very so talented.
Yeah. But they've been doing that for a long time, so they should definitely be applauded for what they're doing. That is something to continue a publication for a long time is difficult to do.
It
Many
is.
publications come and go, but the ones that stick around, they're dedicated. Absolutely. Any
Okay,
others?
and then I want to share, I don't have any books in my pile. They're out somewhere. I'd have to go find them, but Pure Slush from Australia. The editor is Matt Potter. I've gotten into those so many times, like 8 or 10 times. And the reason why is because I submit something and he is so nice. He's drawn toward my work and he'll say, you know, this part is a little confusing. Maybe you could think about this question, and he'll ask me a question. So I have to come up with the answer, but he's like guiding me to make it better. And I've submitted little stories. I've submitted like 5-page stories that aren't quite so short. I've submitted lots of poems. And during the quarantine time and the COVID time, I've mainly submitted to Rye Whiskey Review and Pure Slush, and I've gotten into both of them a whole bunch of times. And I really appreciate Matt for that help. And
It
he's
sounds
really
like
helped
he
me
goes
with
the
my,
extra mile. He really
he
does.
does, he's really helped me with my stories. We've become friends. We've even emailed back and forth about, you know, how are you? Oh, I'm so sad because I can't go to, he wants to go to England because he has family there and he couldn't go. And so I asked him if he wanted to publish the book I've been working on, and he didn't. And I could tell he felt really bad, but he didn't. But
Oh,
it was great that I could ask him and he could tell me why, because some of these places won't tell you why or what's wrong, and he always does.
okay. That's a good recommendation there.
He's got stuff that you can apply to right now if you look up
He's
Pure
got,
Slush.
he's publishing all the time. It's like there's volume 1,
Yeah.
volume 2, volume 7, volume 8.
So right now he wants poems that have a dialogue in them for something called Conversations.
Mhm.
And also he's doing a whole series of books called Growing Up, where there's the birth, there's friendship, there's love. It's just gonna be all kinds of chances for submitting.
So that's a good one to know, people. Pure Slush online to contact them. And then they also publish physical books.
Yeah, it's not, I don't think it's online. It's all physical book.
All physical books. Yeah.
Submission line,
You can reach them online.
but he yeah, I don't think he does anything online. I mean, nothing, no zine. It's all published books.
Yeah, I don't think you can see it from here, but behind my sofa, there's a bookcase of nothing but books that I've been published in. So my Pure Slush is in there somewhere. I could go find it, but I don't want to dominate the proceedings too much, even though we got a low turnout today. But I'm going to go to Coco now, who has a favorite publication that you may have heard of. Coco?
My favorite publication, bar none, is Spectrum Publication. And it's not just because, you know, I'm kissing booties or anything like that. I love Spectrum Publication because it has such a wide variety of poets. You have emerging poets, you have well-known poets, you have award-winning poets, and the styles of poetry are different. So for anybody just, you know, trying to get into the scene, it's a good publication to go with. The publisher is very generous in terms of, you know, which pieces that are highlighted, and the publication itself has expanded over the years. It's not stagnant, so we're starting to include art and photography, and the covers are always outstanding. I just think that the content for $10, the amount of content that you get is overwhelmingly awesome. And, you know, yes, I love Lummox Press, and yes, I love Pisces Press, and LA Poets Press. You know, I love all of them. But the reason why Spectrum is my favorite is because of the amount of diversity stylistically, the poetry that's in there. It's just, you know, you get all the poets of the spectrum, literally.
Well, I do know a little bit about this press. That's true. It used to be 5.5 by 8.5, full color on the outside, but black and white on the inside. Let's see, a little inside there. And yeah, it was meant to continue the legacy of the San Gabriel Valley Poetry Quarterly, and whose purpose was to get the Pasadena poets together. And this one has a scope a little larger than that. It's open to just about poets from anywhere, but also maintaining the local scene. And I learned very quickly that doing this alone is very taxing. I can see why RD wants to take a hiatus. It's good to have people that can help you. So we've got GT Foster as our managing editor, and he takes care of all the financials and having the proper things like the old ISBN number and 4 pages, right? Thanking the people who donate. So that's very good. He's made this publication continue financially, right? And then the other thing I personally enjoy being the EIC is I get to choose the themes, right? And for Spectrum, it's always numbered, Spectrum 21. And then I rhyme the subject with the number. So Spectrum 21, who won? So that's how I get the themes. And I try to pick themes that are a bit challenging. Ooh. What was this one? It's on the spine, yeah. The Evil Spectrum 23, to be or not to be. I forgot to tear off the cover, sorry. 24, little nursery rhyme there, open the door. The photography on the cover and art comes from people who submit as well. So we got the front cover here, I think was, who did that front cover? That was Mark Fisher, his photograph there. And on the back, there's a photograph by Mary Torregrosa. She had just put that up on Facebook, and I asked her, "Oh, can I use that? I want to use that." She said, yes. And then 25. Who did that? Wow, that's Spectrum 25, How to Stay Alive. And that is an actual Zoom page, like what you're seeing right now, put through the blender. That was pretty inventive. Who did that? Dean Okamura did that. Wow, nice. And there's a lovely one in the back there too. Who did the back cover? That was Marcia Grieco, who is always contributing art. She contributes only art. So that's nice to have people like that giving us art. And the last issue that came out was Spectrum 26. This is not a photograph, it's a work of art. And so is the back cover. Right, so these are just lovely. The one in the front is a young artist who's been published in here before. I remember that. Let's see, what is that name? I usually say front cover. Did I remember to this time? Well, I'm blanking out, but she's young. Do you remember who? I don't know. And then the back is a collage. One more look before I move on. I'm moving on.
Okay, I think it started with an A. I think it started with, I can't remember.
I admit the pandemic has taken a little bit of my concentration away. But so that's just a sample of a few issues there. So thank you for that plug. And I want to add that Coco is someone who, when she joined our scene, she quickly showed responsibility by voluntarily archiving, being our historian for the readings. And when this crisis came along, this pandemic came along a year ago in March, she's the one who made it possible for us to go on Zoom. And even this event today is being sponsored by Coco. So Coco is not just a great contributor, but she's a great sponsor. Yeah, so thank you so much. Now,
you get us the room at the library?
Yeah, we used to meet at the Pasadena Library. We met there for, in one way or another, for the past 40 years. About 25 years ago, I took over because the host died. Oh, yeah, he hosted for 20 years, Hy Baker. You wouldn't know him. He was a wonderful man, a very modest fellow, really enjoyed poetry, just enjoyed it. And I was very sad when he passed away, that's for sure. I remember he was in his late 80s and he was just so active. The days before he died, we had our meeting on Saturday and he helped put away the tables. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, Amy Silas, yeah, I think did the cover for 26. Thank you, Coco. See, that's what Coco does, makes things run better. So getting back to Hy Baker, yeah, and then he was not feeling well when he was driving home that Saturday, and he died on Wednesday. So that was really sad. But I wanted the group to carry on, and we met again and decided to carry on, and now we've been carrying on for 25 years. So pandemic be damned. And maybe in July, we can get back to having live performances or live workshops if the library reopens for their back room. Their calendar year runs from July to June. So if they do it, they'll do it in July. And if they don't, it might be a longer wait to have events at the library.
We have to submit another application.
I would imagine we would have to do that. Yeah, but they're not, they're not open now, not open now. They said, we'll let you know, right? And when it comes to the applications, I was the one who was applying in the past, but we've got several members of our group doing the applying now, GT Foster and Coco, Kaloki, Carl Stillwell, and Lori Holloway. So there are many people they can notify. We're gonna hear, but not yet. Not yet, not yet.
Sorry, not sorry. I hope it's not the last librarian. I hope, you know.
So Spectrum got a lot of
Oh.
airtime there. Let me ask Chris to say whatever he wants for a minute so I can find some more publications, and then we'll wrap up after that. If you want to say anything, any questions you have, Chris, go ahead. Maybe Coco and Chuka can help you while I go get a few more publications. Thank you.
Sure. I definitely want to second everything you said about Spectrum, Coco. But despite the gray, I'm relatively new to this scene. I've only really been doing poetry for about 10 years. And virtually all of that time, I've been mainly within the Spectrum community. So it is responsible for my growth as a poet or my deterioration as a poet, depending on who you are and how you look at what I write. But I also have a question. Of all these publications that you guys have mentioned, what are the ones that you keep on your bedside stand? What are the ones that you read for pleasure? What of these publications would you feel as part of the entertainment side of your life? Or do you read poetry for pleasure? I'm amazed at how many of the poets I've met in my brief career who really don't read poetry much. And which is, I feel, is legitimate. Many poets are in it for what they get from the process. It's an ability to share yourself with yourself and with others, and it's gives you an ability to be expressive in ways that you couldn't otherwise, and you don't necessarily want to see somebody else's soul bared before you while you're working so hard on bearing your own. But it comes down to the question, what of these publications would you call your recreational reading? Or would you do that, call any of them your
You know, Chris, what I want to do, I want to make that another episode so people can prepare for that. Because it is true. When it comes to writing poetry, invariably all the poets that I've ever interviewed for school, they're always saying, read poetry, right? If you want to be a better poet, read poetry. It's so true. I learned that a long time ago, and it's been a very big help to me, and I'm sure to everyone who does that. So we're definitely going to do another episode there where we can do the recreational reading. And I just want to use these last 10 minutes to name 3 more presses that have been going on for a long time and are worth mentioning. And I tagged some of these people, so all the more reason to include them. One is that little college called Pasadena City College does Inkscape, and they've been doing that for a very long time. This is volume 75. So I think
I edited that volume.
you have to be, well, see? So do you have to be a student or former student to get in here?
You have to be a
Yeah.
former student or student
Okay,
to
good.
get in there, unless there's a special call.
Okay, well, I am a former student. Back in 1985, I took Ron Kirchie's creative writing class. So that qualifies me. All right, so.
That is an excellent publication.
Yes, it is. And the Altadena Poetry Review. Got a few
Yes.
here, the Altadena Poetry Review, right? Every year they put out an anthology. The Poet Laureate of Altadena does that.
But I got so stressed out from the quarantine and everything that I forgot to apply. I got the email and it just went in one ear and out the other.
This year is different. This year is different. They're not doing a physical anthology this year. It's going to be strictly online. So if you just Google Altadena Literary Review or
We're still
Altadena,
accepting.
you'll get the 411.
I thought it was too late.
Nope. They're
No,
still
it's
accepting.
ongoing this year. It's
Oh,
ongoing.
okay.
There's no deadline this year. It's ongoing. They find something they like, they put it up.
Oh, okay.
That's how they're doing it this year. Yeah, just this year.
Thank you.
I need to submit too.
Me too.
Yeah, I've been just trying to write some new stuff. So this last one, I definitely want to mention it because the people behind it are so dedicated. Mark Lippman and his significant other, Antonietta Villamil. Yeah, it's a mouthful for me. Villamil. I'm not sure I'm saying that right, so I better stop right there. They put out publications, what's their press called? Vagabond Press, that's right, Vagabond Books. And they just do them with such care. And they're so inclusive, right? And there's just dozens of poets in here, and he likes to use different size pages, not your standard 6x9, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
What's the
it's
name of that guy?
Mark Lippman.
Mark Lippman, yeah, and it's Vagabond Books. Vagabond Books based here in Los Angeles, Southern California.
How do you spell Lippman? L-I-P?
Lippman.
Okay.
Lippman, just the way it
'Cause
sounds.
maybe he might be interested in my book.
Whoa, found a couple of my poems in here. Well, followed by Eric Lawson. A little shout out to Eric Lawson there. He has a new book out, his first book. Lalo Kiki Riki. Oh, I haven't seen her in a while.
Lalo.
Lalo.
She has two names.
Yeah, that's right. She has her real name, and then her performing name is Lalo Kiki.
I was very confused because she's an artist too. And
Yeah.
I thought maybe there were two women who looked really alike, and one had one name and one had another.
All right.
Did we mention Pisces Press?
Sorry?
Did we mention Pisces Press?
I
No.
think so.
You wanna
Pisces
mention it?
Press is Eileen Carroll's press.
Oh, see, I don't know this press. I don't know this press. Talk about it.
Oh, well, Eileen Carroll, she's with Canyon Poets that meet. They're in another state, so but she's local. She's actually in California. Her last publication was Tales of the Brokenhearted, and it was a fabulous anthology. A lot of the poets in there are poets of color. Primarily that's, they're trying to uplift those voices, but she welcomes all submissions, and you can usually find out her theme because she does have themes. I missed the last one. By going to the events on Thursday night, which is tonight, at 7 p.m., they have a Zoom, and Eileen Carroll is usually there and will tell you what open calls she has. But the last one, Tales from the Brokenhearted, there is one poem in there. I was like, this poem alone is worth the $10 for this book.
I'm familiar with the Canyon Poets, right? Because of Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, Katrina Canyon, I've known her for a long time. And if you, I think, I can't say it out loud, but I won't, I'm hinting. Luis J. Rodriguez, he has Tia Chucha Press.
Uh-huh.
And they put out books as well, but anthologies less frequently. Like the one that they've been hawking for the past 5 years is Coiled Serpent. It's just a gigantic collection, maybe 300 poems, I think. And they've done many readings to promote the book. It's just a wonderful collection of poets, in particular poets of color, but it's also inclusive to all.
Yeah, her press is inclusive as well.
So that I'm glad you got my mind on that. So I didn't want to forget that one too. That's hopefully they do more of these.
Another press that I did submit to that was primarily for women was Animal Heart Press. And they did an anthology. I'm not sure how long they've been around, but they did an anthology I think it was 2 years ago for Women Voices, and I submitted to that. It's a beautiful book. Let me see if I have it here.
Yeah, see if you can find it. I'm not going to submit to that one.
Where is it?
Yeah, we're down to the final 4 minutes here.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm sorry.
We never talked about zines.
Zines, that sounds like a whole nother episode.
Yeah, we should probably
Yeah.
do that.
You are a
Yeah,
fountain.
so here is this one, which is From the Ashes, an anthology of women's poetry. So, and they are Animal Heart Press. So if anybody's interested, Animal Heart, you can look that up on.
What does the inside look like? Can I see the inside?
Oh yeah, absolutely. The inside is, you know, it's your standard format. There are little, this little emblem that they have throughout the book, you know, that highlights the different chapters of the book. But you know, the formatting is similar to what you've seen elsewhere. No other photography or anything in it. And they do give you a bookmark though,
Color,
with
full
all the
color.
past covers. So
Nice.
those are some of the other covers that they had.
That's done proper. Very good.
Yeah, this is a really nice one. Edited by Amanda McLeod and Mila Blust. I don't remember how I think somebody like asked me. I was asked to submit to this publication, so that's how I got in there. I was actually asked through the grapevine.
Thank you for bringing it up, and I hope they have many more. That's for
Me
sure.
too.
All right, so we're just about out of time. I want to thank Chris for listening in, and Coco, a lot of C's today. We're the C group. Coco and Chuka, and for giving their knowledge. They're both actively publishing their poetry, which is definitely something that is worth trying. If you're writing poetry, try to publish. It's a such a buzz. You still get a buzz every time somebody you don't even know takes your poetry. You just go, oh yeah, justification. Yeah. So keep on writing, keep on publishing, and keep on watching Mechanics of Poetry, because we're here every Thursday, recording every Thursday at noon, but then it's going to go up on YouTube and you can watch anytime, 24/7, whether you're in your clothes or not. Feel free to watch. Okay. Thank you, everybody. I'm going to take us out because I'm recording. Oh, here comes the big takeout. You may wave goodbye. Goodbye.